All right, welcome everybody. So finally in this video, we'll be doing the assignment itself. And let me make sure you're able to see my screen. Um, yes, you should be able to see my screen. And this is the Word document where I have the assignment in. And this assignment will actually be creating a dream cafe. And we're going to be creating a menu and everything that goes with it. So we're going to get right into the task. I will be posting this document with the video, so you'll be able to read that. So now this right here, the first task is to create a variable and store the name of the cafe with the catchy name. So the name of the cafe is up to us, whatever we want to call it, and we need to store that in a variable. So let's switch to PyCharm, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these tasks right here. I'm going to copy these, and I'm going to try to paste it in PyCharm, so then we don't have to switch back and forth. Let me share my screen for PyCharm, and in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a comment just like this, and now we actually don't have to go back and forth. All right, so the first task is use a variable to store the catchy name, this one right here. So now our coding is going to be at the bottom. So now what we need is a cafe name, right? So cafe name equals to coding cafe, something like this, right? So we created a variable, we named our cafe, just like this. We're done with the first task right here. This next task is print out a welcoming message using a variable, something like this, right? So instead of this will be the cafe name, and we just need to print that out. Let's go ahead and do that. The next one is going to be print welcome to, and this is where we're going to attach the name together. We can use a plus sign, or we can use a comma, up to you. If you use a comma, then you need to get rid of this space. I'm going to use a plus sign for right now, and that's going to be a cafe name. We'll switch back and forth between the plus and the comma. Then if you're not able to use both of them at somewhere in the print statement, I'll let you know. But for right now, I think we can use both of them. So what I like to do is, as soon as I write 1 or 2 lines of code, I like to test it out, make sure I don't have any errors, and I test as often as I can. So now I have welcome to Coding Cafe, just like that. All right, so we're done with the first 2 bullet points. The next one is the cafe menu. Create variables for at least 5 items you would like to have on your menu. These should be food or drink names. So now we need to create 5 variables that have that's on the menu, and those are going to be the name of the food or the drink. For each item, also create a variable to store its price. So now we need to create 5 variables, and we're going to store their price in those variables, right? So now so these two are actually combined together, right? So we need to create a variable. Now we need to create name of the variable. So what are we selling? Let's say we're selling espresso. And now what they want you to do is create a price for that. So let's say espresso is $3, and this is what we're going to do. So now we have one variable that equals to a value of 3. It's not dollars, but that's how we're going to be looking at it. Good. So you can't actually do something like that. So this is actually not allowed. $3. So dollar is not an integer value. You will not be able to assign it just like that. So you need to come up with 4 more. So the next one we can do is latte equals to $4. And then we can do sandwich equals to $5. And then we can do cake equals to $10, something like this. And then we can do tea equals to $2, something like that. So now we have 5 variables, and all of those have a values. They all equal to a value, right? So that value is actually the price of each of the items. Now we're done with these two. The next one is print out a menu for your customers. Example, espresso equals to $3. So now we need to print out the menu. So right now, what we've been doing right now, the only print statement we have is the name of the cafe. If I run this right now, nothing else is going to print because the only way you'll get something here is because you have a print statement, right? So we only have one print statement, and that's printing the name of the cafe. It's not printing anything else. So what we're going to be doing is welcome to Coding Cafe, and below that is going to be the menu. And we're going to create that menu. So we're going to do menu just like this, and right below that will be the menu. The first item in the menu will be espresso, and we can print that out. So we can do print statement again, and that will be espresso. I think we used something like this, and they want you to use the $sign. So what we're going to be doing is espresso with a $sign, and then we need to add the value to this. So value of espresso is 3. We're going to use this variable to add it. So now this is the integer value. Remember, it doesn't have quotation. And now we're not allowed to use a plus sign. So if you use a plus sign, we use, it would be something like this. So if I run it, it's going to give me an error. Oh, I have 2 S's here, but that's actually not the error. Let's see what the error is. The error is type error can only concatenate string, not integer. So I'm trying to concatenate string. Remember, all this is a string data type, and trying to concatenate integer with that, and that is actually not allowed. But if I use a comma, we actually have another problem. So if I use a comma, what happens is I have a space here. So that doesn't actually look good, right? So if you have a menu, espresso $space 3, that doesn't look good either. So what we can do is we can use a plus sign, but instead of integer, we can actually convert that to a string. So there's a built-in function. We can convert any number, float, integer, anything to a string just by using str. So str is short for string, and now espresso is converted to string only for this line, right? So if you use this value later in the code, that is going to be an integer value. It's not going to be a string value. This only converts to a string only for this line 38. Okay. All right, so if I run this now, this should work. There shouldn't be any space, and now espresso equals to $3. Now I need to do the same thing for all of them right here. And what I can do is I can write it. So I can do one way would be espresso, and next option we have is latte. With a $sign and then a plus sign, we're going to convert that to string and concatenate with this. I'm going to run it to make sure our menu is looking good. Yes, latte equals to $4. That's great. And now, remember, I have to do this 5 times. I'm lazy. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to copy this and changing the value. So now next one is a sandwich. Again, I'm going to come in here, change the value of the sandwich, and do the same thing for this. Convert it to string, concatenate together. Next one is cake. I'm going to change the value to cake and change the value here to cake. Same thing again. I can copy and paste, or I can just type it in. When you copy something to just like I'm doing, you got to make sure you got to go back and make sure everything is making sense. You make sure you didn't miss anything. Make sure you didn't leave anything like this here. I changed T here, but not here. So if I run this now, this is going to give me a wrong value, right? So T is equals to $10. So make sure you go back and change whatever you need to change if you're doing copy and paste. So now we have the menu, we have the values, we have the amount, dollar amount, whatever they equals to. That looks great. All right. Move on to the next item. So we printed the menu out, that's great. We have daily specials. Choose one of your menu item to be special of the day. Offer a 10% discount on this item for the day. So now what they're saying is you need to pick an item that's going to be discounted by 10%. And we need to change the discounted price. We need to come up with the discounted price, calculate the discounted price and store it in a new variable, print out information about the daily special. So now let's do this one first. So choose one of the items to be a special of the day, offer 10% discount on that item. So now let's do latte. Do we want to do latte? Let's do cake. So let's say cake is special of the day, and we're going to be offering 10% discount on this. So now if we go back to our instructions, we have calculate the discounted price, store it in a variable, and print that information out. So now let's divide that up. Let's do this first. Calculate the discounted price and store it in a variable. So we need to come up with a new variable, and that would be let's do, what do we want? So actually, let's do special item first equals to latte, something like this, and now the discounted price would be something like discounted price equals to, and now this is where we calculate the 10%. And to calculate that 10%, remember, we can actually do minus 10%, but we don't actually have a way to do that. We need to come up with the equation that would actually lets you give you a 10% discount, right? So the price of did we do latte or cake? I think we picked cake, right? So cake right here is $10. So what we need to do is cake, that is $10. And then we only going to be saving the price of that to be 90%. If you take 10% off, we're left with 90%, and we can do something like this. Obviously, there are other equations you can use, but if you do 0.9, that would give you 90% of the cake value, and that would be a discounted price. And it says to print that out, so we can print that out. Let's check if we got the discounted price right. So I'm going to print that out, and let's see if we got it right. And so cake was $10, and 10% off is $9. That looks okay. Right. So now let's see what do they want us to print out. So print out information about the daily special. So we need to format this. So not just the price. We need to do special of the day is special item. That is the cake. That is going to be concatenated together. And price, discounted price is we use a dollar sign, and this is the discounted price. We're going to do the exact same thing we did before. We're going to concatenate, and we're going to use str to pass in the discounted price. So now this is a long print statement. You have a special of the day. We concatenate it with a special item. Special item, if you look at, is the cake. We store that here, and then we have discounted price is this right here. So this should be familiar. We just use it up on top right here in the code. So the same format goes here. And we're just using it in the same print statement. If you wanted to, we can split that out, use a different print statement, but just to be efficient, I'm not using a separate print statement. So if I run this, now we have special of the day is cake. Discounted price is $9. All right. So now on to the next we have is total cost for a group. Imagine a group of 4 friends walk into your cafe. They each order one of your items. Calculate and print out the total cost for the group. So now we need to calculate a group item, like group receipt, right? And we need to print out the total. So now we need a group total. So group total equals 2. Let's say the items that depict one of each. Let's do these 4 right here. So we depict latte plus, what is it? Sandwich, cake, and tea. We have 4 items that depict. I'm saving that value in a group total. And now I just need to print that out. So print that out. We're going to use the same format, just like this right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to define what we're trying to print. Group total is just like that. Run it just to make sure everything is okay. So now, excuse me, the group total is 21. So now if you add all these things up, that should come up to 21. So now I have 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. 19 plus 2 is 21. So we got the right total. All right. So now we're done with this one. The next one is feedback section. Store 3 feedback comments from imaginary customer in a separate variables. Print them out in a format customer says this. So we need 3 variables and 3 print statements, or we can do one all in one print statement, but we'll see how that works out. So feedback, we'll call that feedback 1 equals 2, and that would be, remember, I think it told us to make up the feedback, and we're just going to be saying this is the best cafe. Feedback 2 equals 2. I love their latte. Feedback 3 would be they are not great, just okay. Something like this. So we have 3 feedbacks. Now what they want you to do is print those out, right? So we're going to use a print statement, and we're going to say the format they try to give us would be customer says something like this. And here we can actually use the comma if you wanted to. We don't really care about the space if there's a space in there, so we can do feedback 1, just like this. And if you wanted to use the plus sign, we could. I'm just showing you different ways. But now remember, we're only thing we're changing is the name of the variables. Everything else stays the same, so I'm just going to be lazy and copy and pasting it. I'm going to run it. And these 3 shows up. Customer says, this is the best cafe. Customer says, that's right here. All right, so now we're on to number 6, cafe capacity, right? So now define a variable for the maximum number of customers your cafe can hold at once. Define another variable for the number of tables in your cafe. Define variables for maximum number of customers cafe can hold. And then define another variable. So let's do one at a time. Let's do this one first. Let's say the cafe can hold 20 customers, right? So 20, 30, max customers equals to 30. We have a variable that holds the maximum number. And then what was the next one? Define another variable for the number of tables in your cafe. So let's say we have max number of tables or number of tables. Remember, I don't do not write space in the name of the variable, otherwise it'll throw an error. All variables is just one word with, and if you have multiple words, then you need to separate that by underscore or just use a camel case. The number of tables equals to 10. So now we have satisfied this right here. Calculate and print the average number of customers per table. So we need to find the average. So we have maximum customers. Let's say the cafe is full, and then we have 10 tables. So how many customers will go into each of those tables? That's what we need to figure out. Obviously, you can do 30 divided by 10, and that would give you three customers per table. Oops, sorry. But we need to show that math, so we can do average space table per average customer, sorry. Per table equals to, so now we have 30 tables. I'm going to copy this variable name, divide that by number of tables. Now we have average customer per table, that equals to 30 divided by 10. And if we wanted to print that out, let's print all of them out. So let's do print maximum customers cafe can hold, and we can use a comma just like this, and then we can use print number of tables in the cafe. We use the comma because we have an integer and a string. We cannot use a plus sign, or otherwise we will have to use str. This would be number of tables. And I can print out the average customer per table and use a print statement as well. Average customer per table equals to, use the comma again, and that would be this. And run it just to make sure everything's working. And now we have maximum, this should be maximum capacity. So, but maximum customers stay cafe and hold 30. Number of tables in the cafe is 10, and average customer per table is 3. Right. Everything is looking good. Everything is looking great. And now there are, I think did we satisfy everything? Let's go back. All right, so yeah, so I think we satisfied all the key tasks that were assigned to us. I think there were bonus tasks as well. Let's actually see what they want us to do. I want to go back to the Word document, share that screen. Bonus task is tip calculator. So define a variable for total bill of the customer, calculate the tip amount 10, 15, or 20%, print out these suggestions. So I'm not going to be doing this last one in this video, but if you wanted to, you can actually do that for practice. Let's do this one. This actually looks fun, and then we'll see how it's working. All right, so 10, 15, 20%, we need to define a total bill. So I'm going to copy this and paste it in PyCharm so we can actually see it. Screen. So now we got all of this down. So I'm actually gonna delete this. Should I delete it? I'll just paste it at the bottom. Okay. So the bonus task is tip calculator, right? So define a variable for the total of a customer. So now what we're going to do is customer total equals to, let's say, $156. Something like that. They ordered a lot, right? So now we need to calculate tip 10%, 15, and 20%. So let's do tip underscore 10. That's 10%. What is 10% of 156? We need to calculate that. So we have customer total, and then we need to take 10% of that. So what we can do is the same formula we used before. Take the 10%, that is this point, times it by 0.1. And same thing, tip underscore 15. And that would be customer 0.15. And then tip underscore 20 equals to customer times it by 0.2. So now we have all those calculated, tip calculated. We can print those out, and we can do print. Let's do string and 10%, 20%, 10% tip is, oops. Then we're going to use the format that we were using earlier because we don't want a space here. So we need to concatenate an integer. So we use a str to convert it, tip 10. And the same format for other two. So I'm going to copy this, paste it 2 times, change the values. 15% is tip 15, and 20% is tip 20. So I run it. So now when we calculate this, there's actually a lot of decimal values after this. So let's try to use, there is a way to get rid of all these extra numbers. But for right now, I'm going to use 150 or something like that. Let's see if it gives me whole values. So it gives me $15, $22.50, and $30. All right. I think that's it for this assignment. If you have any questions or concerns, email me, and we'll be able to work through that. I will be posting the code and the video online, so you'll be able to see that. Thank you.